Hi guys, this is problem number 1 of your 9C homework. And in problem number 1, we're going to look at, we're using a table, and this is eye color and boys and girls, male and female, okay? So in problem number 1, we're going to start with A. Now when we're looking at A, I want you to notice that I don't have any conditional statement on A, okay? So for A, we're just looking at males, the probability of being male, right? This doesn't have anything to do with a conditional statement. So a conditional statement in probability looks like this. It's like on B. This is a conditional statement when it has this straight line right here. And then the second part of that statement is the category that we're going to use for that conditional probability. Okay, that's what conditional probability is we're just going to use one category. Okay, conditional probability. Okay, so on part A, it's regular probability. So the total number of males, again, our probability is always the number of specified outcomes. So it's the specified outcomes divided by the total number of possible outcomes. Okay, that's what probability is. So for part A, what's our number of males? Our number of males is 24, right? Oops. Number of males is 24. And then on the bottom, we want the total number of possible outcomes. And so that's going to be that 60. All right. And if we divide that on our calculator, I want you guys to realize that you don't need to have the graphing calculators. We are just needing regular calculators for this math. No need to worry about not having the graphing calculators. We don't need them. Okay? So we're just going to take the top number. We're going to divide it by that bottom number. And guys, always round to 2 decimal places. So even if you don't have 2 places afterward, you might as well just go ahead and give it to me. 2 places past the decimal. Now, what's the probability of being male conditioned on brown? Okay, conditional on brown. Okay, that means, guys, that we are only looking for data in the brown category. That's the only data we want to look at. It's as though you guys have covered up all the rest of the data, right? And it doesn't exist anymore. That's what conditional probability is. We're not considering all the data anymore. We're saying, oh, we're shrinking it down to the category. That second term right there, that second term is the category, okay? So here, our condition is just saying we only are interested in the brown category, okay? So when we go to see our probability of males just in that brown category, conditioned on having brown eyes, the total number of males is 12. Because again, we don't see anything there, right? There's nothing there. We've covered it up. Now, we're not really covering it up, but you in the video, but you can literally take a piece of paper and cover the other parts of the data up so you don't get confused. I always recommend doing that, just so that you realize, hey, we only want to look at brown data. So the males in the brown data, that's 12, okay? So here you can see when it was just all the data, it was the total number of males, right? But here it's just those that are in the brown category. And our total now is different as well, because again, we're not using the total for the whole sample space. We've limited it just to that category. So here is that number that we're using for males, limited or conditional on them having brown eyes, right? So when we put it in the calculator, we divide that 12 by 30. So that's going to give us 0.4. And since we've been asked to do 2 places past the decimal. What the heck? We're just going to do 2. We're going to add a 0. Let's find out what's the probability of being brown. Okay. Well, the probability of being brown doesn't have any conditional statement. So you really want to be able to go back and forth. If there's no line with a second term, like here, you're dealing with regular probability. Number of specified outcomes divided by the total number of possible outcomes. So here our total number of brown is 30. And then total number of possible outcomes is 60, right? And if we divide that on our calculator, we'll get 0.5. Okay, so here is our answer. All right, now you can leave it just as the fraction. I don't mind. That's okay. All right, so on part D, we do have a conditional statement. Brown conditioned on them being male. So that second term is what we're interested in. That's what's going to limit our category. So we're only interested now in the male category, only on the data for males. That's how that works. Everything else we're going to ignore. Now we're going to go and find that probability for brown, okay? So we're going to look at brown, but just in the male category, right? So 12 is the total number of males in the brown category, or I'm sorry, the total number of brown in the male category, okay? And our total is the total number in that category. So 24. And that, again, will come out to 0.5. Okay? Again, you can leave it as that fraction. Okay, so on part E, we do have a conditional statement. Okay? The condition this time is female. So we are only interested in this female data, nothing else. Everything else is disappeared to us. We're not worrying about the male data. We're not worrying about the total data. We're only interested in that middle line data, nothing else, right? So down here, we're going to say, well, how many brown? Well, we're only interested in this number because we're only interested in anything that's in that female category, nothing else. So the total number of brown in the female category is 18. The total number of females in the female category is 36. And that comes out to 0.50 again. Okay, you can leave that as a fraction if you want. This is the best way to give me an answer because it also shows part of your work. You give the fraction and then you give the decimal. So on part F, we're looking at what's the probability of female, but in this, we have another conditional statement. We're only interested in the category of those people who have blue eyes. So in that category, we have, again, we're just dealing with blue now. Everything else disappears. So the total number of females in that category is 12. The total number of blue is 20. Okay. So when we're looking at some conditional probability, it just means we're changing the parameters of what we're looking at. We're saying, look, this probability is conditioned on this category. So it changes that bottom number, but only when we have this line and a condition applied. Okay, 12 divided by 20 is going to give us, oops, didn't do that right. 12 divided by 20, there we go, is going to give us that 0.60, and that's our answer. Okay, guys, that's problem number 1 on the 9C homework. Thank you.